and they said, we better not catch no more knives. Well, me and one of my good friends went the next day, and we forgot and had our knives. And we had them out in study hall. And he said, oh, I like yours. Can I swap this one for you? And I said, yeah, I guess so. Give it to him. And about that time, here come our teacher over the. He said, what do y'all got there, boys? You know, and off to the principal's office. Principal said, I am disappointed. And he looked at me and he said, I am the most disappointed in you of more than anybody else in this whole school. And he did. He said that. He said, I am more disappointed in you than anybody else in this whole school building. That you would have broke the rules. And I said, and I didn't mean to. I meant to leave it at the house. I did. And he said, well, you ain't got to worry about that because you ain't going to carry it back home with you. It's staying right here in my desk till school's over with. And it stayed there. And then whenever the last day of school, I was giving it back, you know, an old sod buster. You younger ones, that just went over y'all's head. Some of these older guys might know what a sod buster is, but yeah. And that was the most coveted knife of the 1960s and 70s. But we died of sin. We're alive in Jesus Christ. You know, he becomes Lord. And sin is supposed to no longer be Lord over us. He's supposed to no longer control us, you know. He said there in 12:13, said, let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body to make you obey its passions. Do not present your members to sin as instruments of unrighteousness, but present yourself to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and your members to God as instruments for righteousness. Don't let sin reign. Don't let sin reign. Don't let sin have rule. Don't let it rule over your life. Don't let sin tell you what to do and what not to do. You know, don't let it have that rule. And stop placing yourself at the disposal of sin. Now look, if you were a drunk before you got saved, after you get saved, don't keep going to the honky-tonk on Saturday night thinking that you ain't going to drink, you know. Don't if you were a drug addict before you got saved, don't keep going down there to the drug. You know, I've been changed. I'm saved, you know. If you really get saved, they'll see it and you won't have to tell them. Because Brother Clint Denton, he said he had one of the most filthiest mouths that there was before he got saved. He said he loved to tell dirty jokes, you know. And he said, I got saved that Sunday night at that church. And he said, I got gloriously saved. God delivered me. And he said, he worked on the oil rigs out there at Texas. And he said, we went in the break room that morning to go out, you know, and he said, we're sitting there, and he said, them guys that I always sit with, said one of them looked at the other one, and he said, well, I heard a real good joke over the weekend. He said, but I can't tell it to you. He said, because I can tell from the look on Bert's face that he won't like it. And see, he did not say one word to them about getting saved. You know, he's a young Christian, didn't know how to present it to them, you know. And I've told the story time and time again of that. The black guy that worked with me at Bradshaw's over there. And filthy mouth whenever I first got over there. Boy, I mean filthy mouth. And he'd get out there and get mad about something with the truck or something, and he'd just let a whole string of them go, and I just keep on loving the Lord and acting like the Lord in front of him, and I never jumped down his throat or nothing, And one day, after I'd been there 2 or 3 years, something went wrong, and I said, "What about Tommy?" He said, "Yeah, what about Tommy?" I said, "Ain't that wonderful?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "He's making a good one." You know, you know, and but they can see, they can see, be a light to them, And he said, present yourselves to God, let God, give it over to the Lord. Let the Lord have control, because verse 14 says, for sin will have no dominion over you, since you are not under the law, but under grace. See, the law couldn't do nothing to save you. And the law really couldn't do anything to keep you from sinning. All that the law did was told you what sin was. But it had no power to keep you from sinning. All it could do is just say, this is a sin, this is wrong. That you go to Leviticus and read Leviticus. How many